The last game on the board for this weekend is probably the biggest game of the weekend. The number 3 seeded Buffalo Bills are traveling to Arrowhead to take on the number 2 rated Chiefs. 35 degrees. It's going to be chilly, only 3-mile-per-hour winds, so these gunslinging quarterbacks shouldn't have any issue slinging those guns. And so these two teams obviously have also already faced off week 5. Bills won the first matchup 38-20, and that was in Kansas City.
I'm just getting excited just thinking about this game.
Dude, I was when we were recording last week, when I even just said this matchup, I got like goosebumps all across. And that doesn't ever happen, bro. So the Chiefs favored at home, minus 1.5, over under 54. Bills have beat the Chiefs this year already 38-20 in Kansas City. In that game, the biggest difference was the Achilles heel. Mahomes, 3 turnovers that game, 2 interceptions and a fumble. Josh Allen, pretty much flawless. So Josh Allen has been riding this flawless train for a couple weeks now. Yeah. It's like the Rams of the AFC to me, right? They were like not beating good teams. They were almost close to not making the playoffs.
Making bad throws,
accuracy issues. All of a sudden, you're resurging and you're playing the best football at the right time.
Yeah. Josh Allen is a beast, right?
Yeah.
And he's amazing. He's a great quarterback. But when you get the seal of approval from Bill Belichick, and he comes out and says, what you guys did last week, that was amazing, and you made it very tough on us to win the game. Like when he comes to you and talks to you about that, like you gotta feel good about that. One of the greatest coaches of all time saying that. But it's not just Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. It's also the Bills' defense. I feel like the Bills' defense, they've got 2 safeties that have definitely surged. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Yes, both are Pro Bowl caliber safeties that, Patrick Mahomes has talked about being more patient and having more dump-offs and things like that, but he still likes to throw it deep. Yeah. And when you have these Pro Bowlers out there that are not going to allow you to do that and also are able to stop the middle of the field, it's going to be, I think, a heavy Kelsey type of game, and it's just going to be a fun shootout for both of the teams. I actually like the Bills' chances here. They've done it before. They can do it again against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they did do it in the regular season for sure. This is the first playoff game in NFL history. I love just saying that word. Yeah. It just makes things so much more important. This is the first playoff game in NFL history featuring 2 quarterbacks to each throw for 5 or more touchdowns in the previous game. That has never happened before.
What? Yeah. That's impressive.
Touchdown on Gami. That's a touchdown.
Touchdown on Gami? Yeah, that is.
So, this should be a Super Bowl matchup. Like, if the whole AFC, NFC thing wasn't a thing, like, this is what I want to see in the Super Bowl. Like, both these teams deserve it, like, more than, I would say, any other team right now. Like, I love both these teams. I love how they play, and they're both playing very similar style football. Like, we don't know the Bills as a running team. We don't know the Chiefs as a running team. They've both decided to incorporate the running factor because they don't want to be one-dimensional, right? Like, Chiefs got exposed last year for being one-dimensional, and, It's important. It's important to have that aspect, and they're both doing it really well. So a couple of things. We talk about Josh Allen being so good. Well, I mean, you can level up and become Patrick Mahomes, who is just that much better in pretty much everything besides power running. Power running is the only thing Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes in. Patrick Mahomes is a 105.1 career passing rating in the postseason. That's the highest by any quarterback with 5 or more starts in NFL history. So, like, it doesn't matter if he's playing in regular season. It doesn't matter if he's playing postseason. He just plays Patrick Mahomes football. And that's part of the reasons why he's made it to the Super Bowl 2 out of the 3 years since he's just ever came to the NFL, right? And to talk about, one player can play like that and elevate the rest of his teammates, but his best weapon is also playing like that. Travis Kelce has averaged 84.6 career receiving yards per game in the playoffs. Only Steve Smith Sr., has averaged more in NFL history. Yeah. So, Patrick Mahomes plays perfect football always, right? Most times, more than any other player. And then you have Travis Kelce, who just gets on fire when it comes to the playoffs. So, like you mentioned, that's going to be a connection. The Bills are going to have to figure out a way to shut that down. And we've seen the Chiefs, get close to having the best record in the NFL while their best wide receiver is not even playing that good this year. He's dropping passes here and there. He's causing interceptions. So if Tyreek Hill, still the X factor, because right now he's like in the back seat in so many conversations because he's been dropping passes down deep and stuff. But let's just imagine a world where that doesn't happen. This game is over. Like if this playoff Kelce connection with Patrick Mahomes and this Tyreek Hill player
Tyreek
Hill player that we've kind of shoot under the carpet because of recent, recency bias. If all three of these guys play perfect football, there is still not a better team. Forget the defense. Forget anything else. If these three players play at the peak of their football, there is nothing and there's nobody that can stop them.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I want to see is two teams that obviously on paper is the most exciting matchup that we can think of play to their highest potential. Yes. That would make for a great football game because then the better team will come out on top, right? Obviously, there are so many other things that can come into play there, but I want to see a game where the Chiefs are playing their best. I want to see a game where the Bills are playing their best because then you can really truly see who's really deserve to win. Yeah. Because the one fear I have is that secondary, right? You have those safeties. You have this formula for the Chiefs that has at least worked in the sense that they're not giving up home run plays. At least good teams are not giving up home run plays to them. It's all underneath stuff. It's all be patient, take what the defense give you, blah, 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 right? The Chiefs were dominant on the defensive end for like 8 weeks, but that started after they were atrocious on defense, right? Atrocious, like the worst defense in the league at the time. So the Buffalo Bills' offensive weapons to me still
can take advantage of that.
Not only can take advantage of it, but if I'm putting those two offensive cores next to each other, I still give the edge from more overall players to the Bills, right? They have more overall receivers than the one Tyreek Hill, right? Pringle, Hardman, yeah, they're nobodies, right? You have Kelsey, obviously, but Dawson Knox is no slouch at the tight end position either, right? You have Emmanuel Sanders, you have all these guys that have stepped up that. To me, if Diggs is taken away, like Tyreek Hill can be taken away, and let's say Kelsey just gets his, and teams have beat the Chiefs by letting Kelsey get his, but shutting down Tyreek Hill. So on the Bills side of the football, now that they've learned to run with Devin Singletary, which has also led to Josh Allen running the ball more, they have an extra dynamic to their offense right now that I think the Chiefs don't have. And that could be recency bias with the Bills playing really, really hot, but like we talked about the Chiefs having no problem moving the football, but struggling to still consistently put up those points. Well, we talked about the Buffalo Bills all year. When they win by fucking double digits. They annihilate teams. Yes. So I'm also, for some reason, could be recency bias. I also have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but right now, right this day, I think the Chiefs on the Bills on paper are scarier than the Chiefs.
Yeah, Bills are doing a lot of cool things on the offense too, right? Like you mentioned Singletary, Gabriel Davis, and there's a guy McKenzie that
Isaiah McKenzie.
He was being incorporated in the running game more often, kind of like the whole Deebo Samuel thing that we talked about last week. So yeah, I mean it's their offense is fun to watch, and but you can never write off Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs either. So
they're a dynasty at this point. Almost, right?
In 3 years, they've already established themselves as there won't be another better offense for a while.
Yeah.
So everything you guys said, a lot of Bills love, right? Much deserved.
Yeah.
So they have defeated. These are the quarterbacks they've defeated this season, and this is why they beat them so badly. They beat Mac Jones twice. They beat Tua twice. They beat Mahomes. That's literally the only good name I'm going to say. They beat Trevor Siemian, Heineke, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, White, Mills, and Zach Wilson.
Damn.
These are the players they annihilated, right? So you should be annihilating these guys, right? So it's just that they do it so often, and it's in the 2021 Bills are the 8th team in NFL history to win 12 or more games by 12 or more points in a season, right? And each of the previous 7 teams that did this, no matter which name I gave you, they won the Super Bowl.
Damn.
They've all won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
However, this road to the Super Bowl is what the Bills are kind of iffy at. They're 0-3 in road playoff games under Sean McDermott. 0-3. So there's not much backing that. The potential is there.
Yeah.
They will make it a Super Bowl with that stat of how dominant they've been all season, but their playoff.
I wonder if that 0-3 is all in Kansas City.
Could be.
You know what? It could very well be.
The way I look at this is the same way the Chiefs were the Chiefs 2-3 years ago, up and coming. All of a sudden, you're like, holy shit, this is a scary fucking team. How do you stop them? They seem insane. Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. Blah, blah, blah. That is the vibe and feeling I'm getting of this Buffalo Bills regime and team that's coming about this year. So it's that same, they're building up to be a perennial dynasty. The missing piece was Josh Allen's accuracy. And obviously, Josh Allen has figured out a way that either he's going to throw the ball less and just use his legs and run more to take away the inaccurate throws, or he's going to use Devin Singletary, which has been their missing weapon. And so that's how I'm envisioning this Buffalo Bills team right now. But at the same time, the Chiefs, like we mentioned, established dynasty. They've been there. Andy Reid's been there. They've won a Super Bowl. Mahomes knows what it's like. And so the pressure is still on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, definitely. Like they have a formula. The Chiefs have a formula that they are not wavering away from, right? Like teams know what their formula is. They still can't stop them. Like, we mentioned like stop Tyreek Hill, but you know what? Forget Tyreek Hill even exists. I don't think it matters. I really don't think Tyreek Hill is even anything. He's an X factor at this point. He's not a focal point of the offense. I have him on fantasy team, so I watch him very closely. They don't care about Tyreek Hill. They use him for deep bombs. They use him. There's games where he gets like 3 targets nowadays. Like they're not like Pringle's getting 2 touchdowns a game. Like these no-namers that we talked about, like they're up and coming as well. Like I don't know if it's Patrick Mahomes just making the perfect plays to make them look better, which is probably what it is. But that's the formula they've established. They're like, we're going to get the Robinsons, we're going to get the Pringles, and we're going to make them look fantastic because we have Patrick Mahomes. Yep. So, yeah, the Bills, love them. Love the Bills. Me and Shovit, week 1, when we were deciding who's going to win the Super Bowl, we're like, don't forget about the Bills. So, yeah, the very much love for the Bills and what they do is definitely there. It just sucks that they have to go through Kansas City to make this happen.
That's how you become a dynasty.
Yeah.
You beat the best.
Real quick. Mahomes or Allen? Who are you picking?
Mahomes.
Who would you start?
I always say Mahomes.
Who would you build a team around?
Mahomes.
There's nobody else I'd build my team around.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
5 years from now, Joe Burrow would be my answer. But right now,
Mahomes, right?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Allen still has those tendencies where you're like, what kind of
Yeah.
throw is that?
Yeah.
I never say what kind of throw is that once it releases from Mahomes' hands.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. But Josh Allen has been doing really well this year, but I still think that Mahomes is the down the stretch, more consistent, I guess less injury prone also than Josh Allen.
True, because he doesn't like taking the hits.
Yeah.
Real quick about taking the hits. Josh Allen actually averages a lot of rushing yards per game anytime he faces the Chiefs. I think he's averaging around 63 rushing yards per game in the 3 career head-to-head matchups versus Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's also because he senses that urgency that he has to make plays happen. He can't just sit there and
That was another prop that I looked at because we've seen this recent surge of him running the ball more because he feels like it adds another dynamic to the entire offense, and his over-under rushing was at 50.5. So historically, he's better rushing against the Chiefs. They've figured out a formula for Singletary and for him to do some read option shit and for him to show that sense of urgency, and it's easy for him to get 20, 25 yards.
Yeah,
that's half the prop in one play. So
that's
another prop that I actually do not mind. At 50, knowing that his career average against the Chiefs is 63.
Yeah, and knowing the game script may not be favoring them.
Yes.
May not.
Yeah.
There's a higher chance of it not favoring the Bills, and he's going to have to run.
And the Bills are another team. Even if the game script is not favoring them, they're still going to play the same football, right? So I don't think they're going to go up 14-0 and be like, let's just I formation Devin Singletary. That's never happening with the Bills.
I can't wait to have that.
Yeah, exactly. God, the luxury. So, yeah, that's why I really, really like that prop. That's why this game, the spread is as tight as it is because everybody has a consensus that this game could go either way. Gun to your head. Who are you taking?
Bills.
Chiefs.
I said all that about the Bills, and then all of a sudden, gun to your head, and you have to make the decision. It's the Chiefs.
It's Andy Reid versus a guy that's 0-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great game, obviously. Those are the 4 games. Obviously, took a ton of time to unpack them because there's so much to talk about, and it's the fucking playoffs. So let's end the show with our brand new segment. Shove it.